How about a nightcap? This is a freezing cold weather drink, but it'll have to do, even though the weather is thawing here in North Texas. Things are coming around. Mike Fisher reporting from Frisco, where we're in the middle of a big thaw. And then in the NFL, we're in the middle of big news as it relates to the salary cap. They've moved the floor up, as you know, up to $180 million. Given the fact that the Cowboys presently have about $14 million in space, but need to prepare to give Dak Prescott $38 million, the math, I'm not very good at math, but that math doesn't add up. So let's try to take out the big calculator and a big sharp pencil and try to figure out what it is they're doing, tell you what I know they're thinking, and see if we can come up with some sort of a jigsaw puzzle where the pieces fit. Because I think we're on the verge of what we, the public, is going to view as drastic measures. What the organization was already planning on doing in most cases, but this is going to be headline-grabbing stuff if our guesstimates here are correct. By the way, before you complain about the breeze, it was 0 degrees here for 3 days. I'm going outside, so we're going to have to put up a little breeze. 0 degrees last Wednesday and 70 degrees upcoming Wednesday. The Cowboys could go crazy with the sharp axe here and start dumping valuable and viable players left and right. You can say goodbye to Tyron Smith. You can say goodbye to Jalen Smith. You can say goodbye to all the Smiths. In a June 1, post-June 1 move, do those two things. If you said, Tyron, it's been real and it's been fun. Jalen, we love you, but that'd be $18 million worth of room. But you'd lose 2 starters, and you'd need to replace them, which also costs money. For the sake of the argument, as my friend Bobby Belt points out, there's ways to gain $60 million worth of room. 60. Okay, good. Then no problem. We got no problem signing anybody, right? But the 60 means you're slicing and you're dicing and you're restructuring and you're risking. And so, as Bobby points out, this is the math. This isn't a prediction necessarily. They're going to cut him, restructure him, hope for the best. It's just that that's doable. I say it's more viable to restructure deals involving players who the club thinks it can count on long term. Cross your fingers. The salary cap is complex. There's those of us who work hard to try to figure it out. There's some people that don't work very hard to try to figure it out. And then the best thing of all is I have access to, I'm proud to say, people who do it for a living. And I appreciate their guidance when we try to walk through this kind of stuff. For me, the candidates for this option, that is the option of restructure deals involving players that the team feels it can count on long term. Amari Cooper, DeMarcus Lawrence, Zach Martin, Ezekiel Elliott. Okay? Now, Zach Martin, I know he had the calf. I don't find that worrisome. To bump him out, to extend him out, I don't think that's very risky. But that package of guys represents a risk. And there's even a punishment when you do this. And that's the way the cap works. People talk all the time about, the salary cap hell. No. It's not hell. Then on the other side of it, people say the salary cap is a myth. No, the salary cap's not a myth, nor is it hell. The salary cap is a reality, but salary cap hell is a myth. It's not hell. It's just a budget, just like you have in your home. It's like I have in my home. You got cash, you got a credit card, you can get a loan, and you got your checkbook. That's the salary cap. 180 million that you have to spend. It's not a myth, but it's also not hell. It just is. It's not hell that I can't afford to build a second-story pool. It's not hell. It's just reality. It doesn't fit into my budget. I don't know what a second-story pool is. I just made that up, but you know what I mean. There's a risk and there's a punishment. Let's take the case of Amari Cooper. His contract was specifically, if you remember our reporting on this at the time, when the headline said, 5 years, 100 million. And we said, well, it's actually 2 years, 40 million, because there's an escape hatch in it. The Cowboys can get out of it after 2 years. They never have to pay him 100 million. They never have to pay him a third set of 20 million. You pay him 20 and 20 for 2 years, then escape hatch. And because of that, if Dallas wants to walk away from Amari after this season and say, okay, listen, that's been good. We had a good 2 years with you on this contract. And again, a year before that too. But 20 and 20, okay, now we're going to turn the page. We're going to say goodbye to you. We're going to keep and sign Gallup. And obviously we have CD Lamb. We're going to go another direction. They can do that with no cap penalty. But if Dallas restructures Amari Cooper, the 2022 escape hatch disappears, gets moved. And then you're committed to him again, which is not ideal. It's not suicide, but it's not ideal. Same thing with Zeke. Presently constructed, he'll have guaranteed salaries for 2021 and 2022, and then escapability. Create a restructure there, makes room now. I think it's $6 or $8 million. That's great. But it would then all but tie Zeke to the Cowboys beyond 2022. At which point, so now Ezekiel Elliott's on your team in 2023. That wasn't the original plan necessarily, but now you consider doing that so you can afford to field a team this year, including Dak Prescott. Not just Dak Prescott. This isn't Dak Prescott's fault. This is how you're piecing together the puzzle. There's other smaller helpers. One of them's obvious, Chris Jones, the punter, at $2 million. A release of Chris Jones saves $2 million. That seems inevitable. A restructure of La'el Collins, and you remember we talked here about the odd retirement rumor. I don't think it's true. La'el Collins is still just 27, got 4 years left on his contract, hopefully healthy, and ESPN says that's $6 million if you restructure him. At age 27, that one's not a problem. But the smaller helpers aren't enough. And all of this, by the way, is in play even if Dak Prescott and the Cowboys avoid the tag. They do sign a long-term deal. In that circumstance, you can get the cap hit in 2021, this year, down to the range of $25 million. That's great. That's better than 38, better than 40, cap hit of 25. Again, that's not his salary, that's his cap hit for the season. But the Cowboys have $14 million worth of room. They don't have room right now for $25 million of Dak Prescott. So I give you those big four again. I think that's the four to look for. Barring Tyron Smith retiring or Jalen Smith getting cut, things that are conceivable, I think the big four is Amari, Tank, Zach, and Zeke. And doing those four can get you $42 million of cap space. That's logical to me. That's not hell, but it's future probable punishment. Because you're going to push guys' contracts out to a point where they might not actually be playing anymore. That's the punishment. Or you're stuck paying them when they're not as good as you wish they were. That's the punishment. I can argue, though, that when in 2023, when we have a new TV contract, and we might have one before that, the salary cap, NFL salary cap's going to go way up. And then maybe these won't be so harsh. But as we sit here right now, those four guys create $42 million, and you brace for some harshness later. Now, there are those who say that Dallas has plenty of room. Somebody, I won't quote anybody here, but somebody saying, "Oh, all you have to do is this, this, and this. That's easy. They don't have to. They don't have to do much." No, they got to do a lot, and they know they have to do a lot, and it's not easy. These decisions are not easy. The only easy path to having room is to not pay Dak. Trade Dak Prescott. Now you got to tag him, get him to agree to it, and then trade him. Call the Jets and say, "How would you like Dak Prescott?" And then tell Todd France, Todd, call the Jets. I think they want to give you $40 million. Yes, we'll agree to that. Fine. Now you trade Dak Prescott to the Jets. Now you don't have anything on your cap for a quarterback. Then you use the second overall pick in the draft that you got from the Jets and go draft Justin Fields or whoever, BYU, I don't care, whoever it is. And that becomes extremely affordable. And now you just beat the cap. You use the draft to beat the cap. You don't have Dak Prescott anymore. It's an easy way to do the money. Obviously, it's a very difficult way to navigate. That's a lot of things that have to happen there. You got to tag him. He's got to sign it. He's got to agree to be traded to the Jets. The Jets have to negotiate a new contract for him. The Jets have to give you the number 2 overall pick and whatever else. And then you need to draft a quarterback. And then the quarterback needs to be good. A lot of ifs. But that would be the way. Otherwise, you got to move mountains here to make it all fit, including Dak. Dallas does have a plan here, but again, with all due respect, oh, this isn't any big deal. This isn't a problem. They're in good. Somebody wrote they're in excellent shape. No, not even they think they're in excellent shape. That's not true. This is a painful plan fraught with risk. The Cowboys not only need to guesstimate correctly on Dak's worth here, they also need to guesstimate on the future worth and health of Zach and Zeke and Cooper and Tank and whoever else is involved here. A host of other big name, big money players also need to be guesstimated and involved in the risk and involved in the pain. Thanks for subscribing and hanging out with us. Thanks for telling your friends about what we do. We'll keep you covered all weekend long, of course, as Texas comes back to some level of weather normalcy. And again, appreciate you hanging out with us. Fish out.